Knorr's chicken bouillon and black pepper. The Knorr's chicken bouillon is key. Okay, another key to flavor in your chicken and dumplings is taking the skin and basically breaking up to tiny pieces, and then put your meat and your skin back in, not just the meat. The skin helps add flavor, okay? So that's key. Now we're going to add about 1.5 to 2 containers of, what is it? Chicken broth. We found pretty much, we've used the off-brand as well as branded Swanson, and we can never tell the difference. So 1.5 to 2 containers of the 2-pound containers of the chicken broth is what we're going to add next. So this will make enough. We feed 2 people off this, and we usually get 2 to 3 nights worth of meals, I should say, off of this. Alright, next we're going to add some black pepper. You have to forgive me, guys, because I don't measure anything, so I'm going to give you a guesstimate of what I add, and this is about probably 1 teaspoon, if not, probably less than that, a half a teaspoon. Now we're adding Knorr's, okay, chicken bouillon, and it comes in a powder form, and I am very, very generous. I don't know if you can see that. I'm very generous with what I put on this, because this is the key to your flavor. Okay, I add quite a bit of this. I'm gonna say probably 3 tablespoons, probably, if not more. And that is key. Like I said, key. We keep this on hand at all times because that really adds your flavor. This right here is homegrown parsley. I probably add about a tablespoon of that. I dry this out in the dehydrator. And then I crumble it up and store it in these jars. This is homegrown basil. I'll probably add 1 teaspoon of basil. And then we've got garlic powder. I only add with the garlic powder maybe I would say with the basil and the parsley. The parsley is probably 2 tablespoons. The basil is probably 1 tablespoon, 1.5 tablespoons. The garlic powder is probably, I'm going to say, 1/2 teaspoon. Because garlic is so powerful and you don't want it overpowering. So I'll be back with the next step. Our next step is going to be to debone our chicken. So we're just going to pull all the meat off the chicken and the skin. Remember what I said, the skin is key to a nice flavorful chicken and dumplings. And I always get every little bit I can off of there. After that, I'm going to get rid of most of the water here. You want to make sure your chicken's fully done. If it's close to being done, that's fine because it's going to cook the rest of the way in the pot, which is okay. Preferably to have it done there before. And I basically just take the meat, I squish it between my fingers and I shred it up. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. This is only 4 thighs, 4 small thighs, and that's pretty much all it takes for a decent amount of chicken and dumplings. And we don't like to use, we find that this is just our preference. We think that we like the thighs in chicken and dumplings better than we do the chicken breasts, because it seems to add more flavor to it. It just seems to be, and not quite as dry. You know, chicken breast has a tendency to be a little bit on the dry side. This keeps the meat moist. Usually I do a little longer on cooking these, only because it makes the meat where it shreds easier. But again, that's kind of a preference thing, I think. So, just a second. I do want to show you how I do the skin. Okay, you have to remember the skin is strictly for flavor. So you don't want these big chunks going into your chicken and dumplings so somebody's biting into a big old chunk of fatty skin. That's not the purpose behind it. So we basically, using a pair of scissors, we're cutting it up into these tiny itty bitty pieces just to place in there for flavor. So when you get a piece of skin, you're not even going to really realize that you have a piece of skin. You just realize you have lots of flavor. And this is a matter of preference, so this is just the way we do it. You do you, boo, they say. This is what I have for the cut up chicken. we're now going to take this and we are going to add it to our chicken broth. So I'm going to put you down for now. Chicken broth and spices. We add this before we even add the dumplings, and there's a reason behind that. I always add the chicken first because if you put the dumplings in, they will lay at the bottom and they will burn. I found it helps if you put the chicken in first. The chicken, they will lay on top of the chicken, and it kind of helps them keep from burning, getting stuck at the bottom. And that's why I do it that way. Do a quick stir on that. Alright. Now I'll go to the next step and I'll show you how I do the dumplings. Okay, this is Mary B's open kettle dumplings. Them out. You want to make sure that these are thawed first, and then I cut them up into little squares. I add them, I separate them, spreading them out. This is what's going to thicken your broth. If you want it thicker than what it creates, then you'll have to add some flour to it. These dumplings, Mary B's is a company that was started out here in a small town right near us. They're about 20 minutes away from us in Milton, Florida. Anyways, I think they sold out to another company, I think. They're no longer in Milton, I don't think. But they kept they did keep the name. I don't know if Mary B's is sold in your area, but they are some great dumplings. They're really good and really convenient because not everybody makes their own dumplings. So these are probably about 1.5 inches to each square that I'm cutting them up as far as size-wise goes. Make sure that you separate these. Ooh, like that one that just fell with two of them together. You do want to make sure you separate them. They have if you don't separate them, they kind of come out gooey, I guess would be the word for it. I think they're better when they're separated. They're not as, I don't know, the way they cook just doesn't cook right if they're not separated. So each one of these little squares, if you notice, I'm kind of dumping them in different parts of the pot so I don't have all of them sitting on top of one another in one spot, because then they will stick together again. We're trying to avoid that. You're going to probably get some of them stuck together regardless of what you do, so I haven't found that perfect way to do that. I've heard some people say to throw some oil in there and that would help it, but I tend to think oil would, I don't know, change a little bit of the flavoring to me. That's just me. You do you. But that's where we're at with this. And when we're done with this, we'll give it a good stir. And that pretty much will be all there is to it. And then you're gonna put it on pressure cook. And I'll come back when I get to that point. Okay guys, here's what I place the lid back on. This is directly after, so the next step is placing the lid back on. After you put all your dumplings in, you stir it up real good. You're gonna see all your spices and your little cut up pieces of skin are all gonna be floating at the top right now. That's not gonna stay like that. Once you get done with this, you stir it up and it's gonna blend all in together. Anyways, I've placed this on pressure cook, okay, and I put it at 5, and this is the Ninja. I don't know what your settings would be, so you're just gonna have to, this is basically gonna do a 5-minute pressure cook. Make sure that you turn this to where the valve is closed, then start it. Okay, let it sit. It usually takes, I want to say, 45 minutes between the pressure cook and the cool down time, as far as the pressure coming down, not cool down, but the pressure releasing, ready to release. That's how long I keep it in there. Then I come back in, I stir it, and then I'll let it sit for probably another 10 minutes or so, but it's usually ready right out the gate. So I'll come back once this is finished and we will check it out. All right, this checker, and give her a good stir. I don't think my chicken thing at the bottom really worked that good. Yeah, they're still sticking. But it does help a little bit. Pressure cook part is done. It does still need to thicken up some. So I'm going to let it sit a little longer. An idea what she's looking like. Yum yum. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube page for daily frustrated to make the first deal they offer. Many people sell a $45,000 check, and they should receive $30,000 minimum just because they want to return to their normal lives as soon as possible. It's as close as I can. What we got, guys? Well, there you go. Delicious. See you in the next video.